Hey there, and welcome to the A.D.K Rock and Metal Network. I am Dave Duz, and joining me today, as most of the time, is Andy Edwards from Nomadic Rain and Kirk Houghton from Scream, Blast, Repeat. Andy, how are you today?
I'm very well, Dave. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Kirk, how are you?
Are we doing this as like a level 2 English lesson? I'm very good, thank you, sir. How are you?
Well, your bum fluff's starting to come through, so you're all right.
You made me cringe, just your reaction to that. It's like, Kirk, you've never been funny. Why are you trying to be funny now?
No, we like to laugh at you, but not. Today, for those of you that do not know why you're here, which is weird, why would you click on a video if you didn't know why? But we do ADK Presents, which is live events that we do across various different venues. But mainly we do, once a month, we do the 6-6 bar in Cambridge. And we are talking about the latest show that we did on the 27th of February, which was headlined by Skarlety. And we had support from Lucid High, Devilhusk, and Chaos Principle. We're going to go through, starting with the opening band, which was Chaos Principle, break down what we thought of the bands, and then play you one of the songs from the set. So kicking us off was Norwich-based band Chaos Principle, newish band. This was their second show, I think. And again, this bill is a really weird mixed bill of styles of bands, this one we did. There's no band is the same genre as each other, so it was almost like a showcase event, I think, for us, this one. I was covering door again on this event, but luckily it's inside the venue, so I can actually listen to the bands, and I was having a bit of a bop and a dance at the front door with the bar staff, which was always fun. Don't really know what to say genre-wise. I'm sure, Kirk, you might have a bit of a steer in this, but what was interesting for me about this band was you can hear that they're a young, like, fledgling band. They're starting out. They've got some great ideas. There's stuff like they're not quite tight on certain things. Like, there'll be a guitar bit and a bass bit that you can see what they're trying to do, but they're out of sync slightly with each other. But that's just the case of live. You're going to find that until you lock in that groove, and you've been doing it for a while, you'll get that 100% right, because they're trying to do some quite technical little flourishes, like embellishments on tracks. Really strong dynamics on the tracks. I was watching about the footage and seeing what the drummer was doing. It's not just standard 4/4 rock beats. They're doing a lot of accenting, a lot of dynamics there. I think vocally, he's got a good voice. My only challenge to him is he's trying to go. He doesn't quite know where he's going sometimes vocally. Is the best way I could put it. And the best way of saying it is, if you're doing vocals, let's say someone in guitar, let's say the guitarist is doing an E chord. Now, you vocally, you can work anywhere within that E scale. So you can go E, you can do a G, you can do an F sharp, and you're okay. But if you sing in an F and you suddenly smooth into an F does not work within the E scale. So if you sing an F, you're going to sound out of key with what the guitar E chord. And then when he's doing like he's doing this kind of run, you have to stay within the scale. And there were points where he was doing that. He was showcasing. He's trying to do some really flamboyant runs, like Mariah Carey in metal. It's like trying to do these like flamboyant runs, but he kept hitting odd embellishments. And I think what he needs to work there is play that E chord or whatever it might be on the song, work out that run, listen back, and then work out where he's going off, and then try to fit within the confines of those E scales. You can go adjacent, but you just got to be careful on that one, because I noticed it more sitting at the front, because I wasn't just headbanging down the front or jumping around. I was just listening. So they were the things that kind of stood out for me. But I like the fact they're trying. I like the fact he's not playing it safe. It would be really easy as a vocalist to play a really simple vocal melody. But what he was doing, he was basically doing a blues ad-lib kind of vocal style, which is really hard to do and do well without making odd fuck-ups in your runs. But he was doing it really well at certain points, and then he made a few little tweaks. But I think as a vocalist, they've got all the footage from me. So I hope what they'll do is they'll look at that, they'll look at the footage and dissect it. That's what I used to do as a band, get the footage from the gig, break it down, work out what we could work on, what's good, what's bad. It's fine to have a gig and go, that didn't work, but praise what worked. Go, that was really cool what we did there. Let's keep that. Let's work on this bit and make that better for the next show. Because So I thought they did a great job, especially as it was only their second gig. And I can't wait to see what else they do with it. Andy?
On this show, I'm sure you'll agree, apart from Scarlet Envy, we're sort of showcasing sort of three sort of fairly new bands who haven't got many.
Oh, pretty much, yeah.
With Chaos Principle, I didn't know anything about them, as with the other three as well, the other two bands that other than Scarlet Envy. But you could sort of tell from the offset they were a little bit inexperienced on the stage, but that certainly improved and grew throughout the set, as did the vocalist sort of delivery and performance, in my view. And what I thought worked really well, despite there only being one guitarist and the bass player, I think what they were delivering came across really well as well. Well well played songs and well written songs. And again, it's another band to sort of keep an eye on and watch their progress and as they grow, because I think they will. And they've done a really, really good set for what was their second or third show. So all credit to Chaos Principle. I look forward to sort of seeing more of them. But they've definitely work in progress, but they've got a good foundation, and I'm sure they'll move on. From travelling down to new venue, new crowd, they've got some hurdles to overcome in that respect, and I think they've done that really well.
The other thing I want to say is a big thank you, because especially bands that don't know the other bands, because when you might know the other bands in the group, I mean, they were there right to the end. When I was leaving, I had the band come up to say hello to me and say thank you for the show. The amount of times a band that was travelling out of your area would bugger off before the end, especially in a midweek. The fact they stayed to the end until everyone packed up and made sure they stayed and watched all the bands, that's a lot for a young band, early days. I wouldn't have felt bad if they had left a couple of bands in or something like that, because I knew they were getting back on midweek. But the fact they stayed always impresses me more and more. And they watched the bands, and also they were there for every other band watching at the front. Again, I appreciate that. Too many bands, you'll get a band that plays and then they're out the back during the other bands, or they're upstairs, or you're like, hang on, you don't have to watch other bands, but it's nice to do that. It's nice to support. Pack your gear away, but yeah, give a bit of support to the other bands as well. They watched you, so you give them the return. But it's something I do keep a note of when I see bands that don't do that and just fuck off, basically. Kirk.
You asked me to describe the music. I would call this heavy alternative rock, or hard alternative rock.
Yeah.
Because you can hear the Pixies, the Smashing Pumpkins in this music. Really, as I keep saying, I know, Dave, you hear a lot of doom metal in that first wave of grunge bands, don't you? To me, they're just writing filthy pop music. So they're kind of sabotaging pop music with fuzzy riffs, aren't they? This band were doing the same. When you looked at the image when they came on, you've got the guitar player in a flamboyant yellow shirt.
Oh, yeah.
the vocalist, I think he had a beanie hat on. The bass player looked like he should be in a punk band, like UK Subs. And I can't remember what the drummer looked like.
T-shirt, jeans, I think. Yeah.
Fascinating, though. I think because I've had 2 weeks of just listening to albums where there's no thought gone into the vocals, like I've had a couple of metalcore albums to review, and I detested the choruses in those as usual. Certain other genres, it's like honestly, it's like,
I like to know that you're unbiased in your views anymore.
No, but especially with the heavy music, which I include this in, because they're using really heavy guitar distortion. It's refreshing to hear a band that are putting the vocals at the front of that, because I was speaking to the singer after, and we were saying, it's like, why are metal bands now? Why have they stopped listening to Chris Cornell, Jeff Tate, Mike Patton, even Phil Anselmo? They will show you how to deliver a powerful chorus in heavy music. And it's just not happening now. It's like we've lost the ability to even try to innovate in this area.
Yeah. So
this band were always going to impress me. He took many risks, you're right. There were a few times where he was pushing his register so high. And I commended him for it, because the last song, he actually left a falsetto uplift in there. That is such a risk at that part of the set, because you might have lost your voice by then. So clearly that didn't happen. I didn't hear it as much as what you're saying, where he's gone out of key. But it might just be that I was relieved that I was hearing something that was trying to be imaginative with heavy guitars and wasn't just taking it in a pop direction. He
Yeah.
definitely had that blues husky voice as well.
It's
didn't
more
it?
an off key, so it's like if you were to say that's the key you're going for, it goes like, and his vocal line will do there. So it's bouncing from one side of it to the other. And you're like,
Yeah.
you can see where he's going, but you're like, okay, you're going for E, but you're now E sharp, E flat, E sharp, E flat, and you're like, just you've got to get the power and knock that note out and hold it, and that you can only get through practice and listening back on your performances. Too many bands go into the rehearsal studio and everyone's focusing on their own stuff. Everything's cranked up, and everyone just goes at the end of it. No one wants to offend anyone and goes, "Great job, guys, we're ready." And I'm like, just record. What you actually want to do is listen to each other. Forget what you're playing. Listen to each other when you're playing. And if someone fucks up, stop the song. Go, hey, whoa. Let's go back there. Your vocals were shit. Your guitar playing was shit. Your bass playing crap was crap. Can we let's go and fix it. And if someone takes offense to it, you shouldn't really be in a band with each other if you can't criticize each other.
Got to be striving for the highest standards. You're right on that. I mean, with this set, it wasn't just verse chorus, the structure either, was it?
No, it wasn't. Yeah.
I want to hear these on record. My only fear with these is they might not be as heavy on record. Ironically, when you're playing live, and I think they were probably playing in drop D, there were some really heavy moments in that. And what you often find with alternative rock bands, they sound a lot heavier live than they do on record. And I just hope they can keep some of that. It's only the second show, but yeah, I'll certainly be following the progress of this band.
Yeah, I want to see what they do next.
It's just refreshing to hear someone, a vocalist in a band, not just going in a pop direction, but trying to bring in some of the old techniques from rock music that have just disappeared from metal.
Okay, well, let's check it out. One of their one of the songs from the show on Thursday. This is Chaos Principle. Okay, next up, we had a new band from the scene from Brighton. This is called Devilhusk. Now, we got to know about this band through Joe Linden from, Derilus. Would have been his previous band that we knew from the Hertfordshire metal scene. Brand new on the scene. I don't even know how he got involved in this. I know he's been doing some stuff at a recording studio and he's been working with some young bands, so maybe this is how he's come to meet these guys. So it's a brand new project. Had a couple of shows recently. One at Club 85 and somewhere else that he played with our friends in Dead Flesh. And I didn't really know what to expect. I'd only seen a little snippet of a clip that we'd been sent to use in promo, so I wasn't really sure what Devilhusk was all about, but I knew it was going to be a heavily weighted. A lot of drum and bass beats in the background. Really good drummer. Really like what he was doing. Good guitar riffs. And Joe just giving his full-on vocal power out front delivery that we expect from Joe. And he did a great job from the actual overall performance. My only criticism overall was by the time we got to the end of the set, all the songs had started to feel very samey, all reliant on this drum and bass beat. And I worry that there's an over-reliance on that and we're losing... I would like to hear, I wonder how the songs would hear if you took those drum and bass beats out and just had the drums and the guitars and the vocals playing, if they would stand up as well. Is there enough substance in the rest of it? Because we've got this big reliance. The breakdowns were on every single song. So there wasn't that big chorus. The most memorable thing was when they launched into Andy's favourite track, Roots Bloody Roots. And that stood out because it was very different to what they'd done on any of the other songs they'd done in the set. But they almost made it a little bit their own. They did a few variations to what the traditional one is. I would like to hear them on record and maybe get to know the songs. It may be one of these ones where you need to hear the songs multiple times and then we'll find out where those big hooks are. And once you get those big hooks live, you get that separation. But I liked the vibe of the whole set. It had a good vibe and it was very different. And I was dancing at the back. I was doing some windmill kicking by the front door. You missed all that. Oh yeah, we were doing what is it? Kill pitting? What's it called?
Crowd killing.
Yeah, we were doing some crowd killing. Me and the barman at the back.
All right.
You missed all that. Kim and Mike saw it. They were like, "What are you doing?" And we were doing like drop kicks and all sorts of stuff at the back. So security camera has got all of it. But Andy, your thoughts on Devilhusk?
Can I first of all compliment you on your Martin Lewis impression a few minutes ago when you was talking about the Chaos Principle vocalist keeping in the E,
right?
The E scale, one of his vocals. You did a bit Martin Lewis there, weren't you?
Oh, I don't know. Okay,
is that reference lost on you? Do you know what I'm talking about?
It is lost on me.
Dave, the money-saving expert.
Money-saving expert, Martin Lewis. When he's talking
I've heard of him, but I've never seen.
No, he does electricity. Set your electricity here, but your provider might put it here. He does all that a lot. Anyway, moving on. Sorry.
Okay, thank you.
I
was wondering why you were chuckling during that. I'm like, what's so funny about that?
Yeah. Devilhusk, yeah. I know Joe very well. Known him for years. Big fan of Derilus, and I think we miss their presence in the Hertfordshire metal scene. But he sort of moved to Brighton and set up a new life there, and this is where this project is based, I believe. Didn't know anything about them, but I knew it was going to be heavy. He's recently done a sort of studio project with another friend of ours called Harvey Lake, called Lucretian, black and death metal. This is very different from that, and it's also very different from the Derilus, but you can sort of feel the influences. As I say, I wasn't sure what to expect, but I think you made a good point just a moment ago. If you knew the material from like a recorded EP or an album, it would certainly hit home on the live front as well. I thought it was a good use of the samples and the sort of the dance beat tracks as well. Guitars were a little bit low in the mix and a little bit lost at times. I'm pretty right in saying I'm no expert on instruments, even though I'm playing a band myself. But the guy on the left of the stage, or the left as we was looking, this stage right, was like, is that a baritone, slightly longer guitar that creates more of like a sort of bass sound with the absence of a bass player, and the other guy was sort of doing more of the melodies on the 7-string.
Quite possibly, if they were doing that way.
Kirk, I'm sure you got some thoughts on that, but I really enjoyed the set overall. It was It was heavy. It was in your face. Very sort of industrial at times as well. I felt as a reference. Joe's using his classic sort of Frank Sinatra mic from the Devilhusk days. What do you know what I mean? The sort of it's almost like a cube almost.
Yeah.
That's just sort of always a trademark. But yeah, great set. I thought really enjoyed it. Looking forward to hearing more from Devilhusk, and I hope to catch them live when they're back this way. But yeah, material, music videos, that's what we want from these bands, isn't it, Dave?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Kirk?
I'm perplexed by this. Devilhusk, great band. You know, you were hearing Machine Head and Death. It was like melodic death metal with thrash metal. And then he's got this other project, Joe, with Harvey Lake, which is black and death metal. And this is new metal, isn't it? And first of all, live, excellent. It's really punchy. It's got those bouncy dynamics. Heavily reliant on the dominance of Joe's voice, which was excellent, I've got to say. You know, when you're delivering that vitriolic, harsh vocal, that's how you do it. He loved it. The movements as well. I get the impression with Joe, he's got an axe to grind. He's angry about something, someone slighted him, or he feels he's been disrespected. He just comes on in a bad mood, doesn't he? There's nothing contrived about it. It's like he's got a point to prove. And I like him when he's in that mode and he's performing. But I've got to say, and I did mention this to you, Dave, at the back from where we were standing, because the guitars were low, that just sounded like entry-level new metal riffing that anyone can do. And I know that's not the case, because I was watching him on the fretboard, and he was all over it. So I just don't think, because of the samples that we used.
Samples were really loud.
Yeah. I think that was just...
It sounded like basically chord progressions, samples, and Joe was then leading it.
That's why it became too reliant on Joe, because he's got such a dominant presence in this. And you know what? I can tell that he enjoys being in this band. I don't know if he's involved as much in the songwriting. To him, it might be relaxing to just be able to go in there and vent, you know, when the project he's got with Harvey Lake, he's playing black and death metal. That's going to be demanding. That's going to be highly technical. This is probably a relief to him. I think at times I was relying on the bass to listen to the chord changes because I couldn't hear that guitar. But it's got a good elasticity to it, and the syncopation in this type of music. So live, it always comes across well. I just fear that it'd be kind of like that first Soulfly album on record, and I don't really like, that era when Max leaves Sepultura and you just go full in on the new metal sound, which thankfully, they've come out the other side and they're playing death metal again. So I think this is really confrontational, probably the angriest and heaviest band on the bill. And you could put them on with a hardcore band, groove metal band. Not too sure you put them on a bill with a death metal or a black metal band, though.
We'll let you decide at home. This is a track from Devilhusk Live. Okay, so the next band, which was the main support for the night, was the band Lucid. They've done a couple of live shows so far. We've got them again coming up on the 12th of March at the St. Albans at the Horn, which is also going to be with Axe of Vengeance and Telescribe and some other band. I can't remember who it is now. There's four bands on the bill on that one. So I wasn't really too sure what to say. They've got a single out. They've got a video out, which is great to see. Didn't know much what to expect. There's elements of groove metal in there. There's hard rock. There's a bit of soul in there. There's a bit of blues. It's quite an unusual band. It is very heavily reliant on the vocal delivery to give you that hook, because that's what you kind of. She's going for, again, it's some very similar to what I talked about with Chaos Principle, liking to work the scale, so moving around the scale. They're playing the chords and she's working around, she's doing ranges, she's going up high. Personally, there were times when I felt that she was going high and was struggling to hit the key note she wanted, so she was just below it, and there were, when she was doing her lower stuff, the lower register stuff, no problems at all. So she was hitting the note, she was holding that note, and it was going fine. It's this element of ad-libbing, doing these vocal scales, and then going slightly either side of those notes makes you come off as being either slightly off key or slightly flat, being underneath it, etc. And it's one of the things I'd watch out for vocalists consistently. And the reason I say this is obviously in the spirit of feedback. Bands have obviously been sent all their video footage. I hope that they will watch it. I hope they will break it down. But yeah, vocally, great what she's trying to do. Just to watch out, make sure you can deliver it, practice it, go through it, and listen back to what you're doing on the recordings, because you can nail it for a recording easily, because you can do overdubs. You've got to be able to do that live. So my recommendation to vocalists, if you are going to be doing these ad-libs, runs and scales and stuff like that, you need to record yourself to your backing track, take it, play it back, and then listen yourself with a fresh pair of ears, because don't do it straight afterwards. Go back, come back a couple of hours later, listen back to it, and be really harsh and critical on yourself to make sure you are absolutely nailing it. Because I think they're a good band, and I'd hate for things like that to be a downfall because you haven't done the extra work to make sure you can absolutely nail it. But I'm glad she's not playing it safe, and she's not just doing a simple melody line and just going for like one note, holding it, going down. You could easily do that, and I've seen many vocalists do that. She's really tried it. She's trying to go for those blues scales, and I commend her for doing that, and yeah, the rest of the band as well. Andy, unfortunately, you had to pop out from the venue at this point, so I know you missed, you only really caught a song or so we will go to Kirk. Kirk, your thoughts on Lucid High?
We had some disagreements on this.
Oh yeah, me and you disagree completely.
This blew me away, this set. First of all, the main influence...
Maybe I'm wrong, maybe Kirk's wrong, I don't know.
I would identify Tesseract musically as the main influence on this. Really impressive, especially those ethereal guitar tone melodies. You know, you don't even hear the plectrum against the strings. They've got a good groove to it. I'll say it again. They're going to be compared to that progressive doom band, Oceans of Slumber, because like Cammy Gilbert, you're right, she's using like a contralto blues voice, and she's using vibrato, which you just never hear in metal these days, do you? So that was refreshing. I agree. She wasn't playing it safe at all. I didn't really pick up on any moments where she was failing to break through, where she was cracking or popping before she's reached that note. There might have been one or two. I didn't think that was a persistent problem in the set. I thought the instrument separation was fantastic for this band. The drums, the kick drum was so clear. The two guitars, the bass. I love this type of spacious prog metal that's really writing what I call technical minimalist music for an alternative rock crowd. It's really unusual. And Tesseract are the main band that do that, aren't they? And you could say Spirit Box as well. But these, Andy, I know you missed the set. To me, they are really going in at a doom metal angle with the tempos and the way that they're letting those power chords hang and making good use, of those drop tunings. So refreshing. I've got high hopes for these. Now, I think these have got a good chance, good outside chance in Metal to the Masses if they enter the Hitchin heat, because they're doing that type of prog metal, which you don't normally get. They're not just, here's a breakdown, or, oh, we've done a moment that's offering a bit of serenity, so therefore we've got to make up for it, with a guitar triplet. They're doing it at their own pace. And you said you commend her because she wasn't playing it safe. I commend the band because they're not just looking at about all the other bands around them and thinking, oh, let's do that. They're doing what they want to do. And it's a really strange alternative progressive doom metal that I'm hearing with that vibrancy and technical minimalism of Tesseract. So good job, guys. I'm definitely going to be at the next gig for this band.
My only feedback would be, so I was going to say, my only feedback around things like talk about Metal to the Masses is going to be things like, when was the last time any sort of band like that got through to all the way through to the final, etc.? If they can get a pack a load of friends down and get the audience vote, I think they will. But what we see traditionally is the big heavy metal bands will get pushed through to all the way through to the final because of the type of judges that we'll get, the 50% judge and the 50% audience. You've talked about a band previously that's played Metal to the Masses the last couple of times, is Stranger, and never got out their heat. And they are a progressive rock band, very good at what they do, but they're just not the right sort of fit to win over a metal audience. And that may be Lucid High's difficulty. But if they can get it past the heat stage and get to the semi-final stage where it becomes more judge orientated, they have a better chance at that point. But that's why the heats is so important, to get the audience votes and get your friends down to those first shows to make sure you get your audience votes on side. Andy, sorry, you were going to say.
Yeah, no, Kirk, I was just going to say you'll be pleased that they are in Heat 1, along with us, Nomadic Rain, which is at the end of April, at the Hitchin competition.
To come down to that. But let's play Lucid High from the 6/6 bar. Okay, and so we're now down to our headliner. So headliner for this show was Scarlet Envy. And so I'll kick this one off. I mean, they call themselves, what is it? Is it ghoulish gothics? Not quite sure what their terminology is at the moment. Metalers from their crypts and stuff. I'm not quite sure if they're ghouls, undead, or what it is with their makeup at the moment. Because it's really strange when you see them in their pictures. You're like, oh, they're a black metal band then. So you've got corpse paint on and stuff like that. But they're as far away from a black metal band as you can imagine. It's gothic rock metal, got groove to it, got melody to it. So they put on the show, 45-minute set. It was okay, I guess. Okay.
Do you have a
This is the moment that Kim and Mike slapped me.
I think we should just declare Dave is in a band
with the rest of the
probably
band.
know, called Telescribe, and three members of Scarlet Envy are in Telescribe. So hard for you to be objective on this.
I mean, okay, I like their set. It's we've heard them so many times that you could pretty much you sing all the songs, you know the set, how it goes, you know Kim's dance moves now, you know Mike's headbang moments, you know Dan's bits, you know the look that Lee is going to give Mike at certain points. So it's they've got this rehearsed, they've got this nailed down. It's really funny for me and Lee, and obviously Lee's on drums. He can hear me when I play Telescribe live and know when I fucked up. I know when he fucks up something. I'll be like, he dropped a beat there, and he'll do like a fill or something, and I know that he's fucked up, and I know that what will be going on in his head will be like, bollocks, fuck that up. And I know he suffers from carpal tunnel, which he was suffering from on the day. So I hear all of that. My only big thing about the band at the moment, and this is my constructive criticism, I personally think they should drop that intro. It's a long intro, especially. It's great if you're not on stage. If you weren't on stage and you were having a big curtain at the front, or you were off stage and you were walking on, have the intro, brilliant. But it doesn't make any sense going into the first song, because the first song is almost like a count-in after that, so it doesn't segue. It's an intro for an intro's sake, and it's quite long if you're on stage you're staring at the back of them or anything, waiting for them to start singing. I'm like, I'd almost want to say, just get on there at those ones, have a very quick, simple, like trigger sample of 10 seconds, and then launch into the track. So it's quite a long one, and it feels quite odd going into the first track, because the first one feels like almost like a space opera sample, the backing beat and stuff like that, and then it kind of launches into the first song, and it doesn't really flow naturally for me. That's personal. I know that other people will like that intro, but having heard it a few times now, and they haven't always done this intro. They never used to. It's been the last sort of 12, 18 months that this intro's sort of come in. But Andy, thoughts?
I'm going to kick off by, we'll talk about the gig, but I just wanted to say what I found regarding the 6-6 bar on many occasions, certainly on this one, is the lighting. It's never been great for photos or videos, to be honest. Unlike the Devilhusk squad, which was absolutely excellent, you know, it illuminated the bands, it was interesting and varied. I'm looking through my clips and my photos, and I can't see instantly which band it is. At times, particularly when Skarlety was playing, it was like a Shape of Despair gig, where Funeral Doom, where they're just barely backlit and it's just silhouetted, and that's what I found for many of the moments, you know, much of the moments when the bands performed at the 6-6 bar. Which is a little bit disappointing at times, because it is just literally shrouded figures in bright lights at times, low lights at times. You just can't make out the performers, which is a big thing for me, and was a little bit disappointing. But Scarlet Envy, I thought were excellent. I quite like the intro. You think it's a bit superfluous, but they could use it, or so they could play without it and still be, you know, an equally good start to the set. So it doesn't bother me. I thought Dan and Mike's backing vocals were particularly good on this show. Loud and clear in the mix, and really contributed to the songs. I like the fact that one of the old favourites was brought out for the extended set, and that was Not Dead Yet from the first EP. I love that track, and also it was good to see the sort of latest two singles as well, which I'm not sure if I've heard live or not. I might be wrong, but they came across really well and fitted in with the tracks from the album, which title escapes, which is a crime. I should know what that is, but yeah, always love watching Scarlet. Sound was excellent. Performances were excellent as well. Different makeup look from Kim tonight. I think it was sort of quite sort of simple from what she usually puts on. But as you said,
it's just her makeup was, her mascara was smudged, and she just went with that. I think.
You reckon? Yeah, lazy. Yeah, as you say on the promo shots, you'd think this is like a death metal band, sorry, a black metal band, but they're so far from removed from that. But great set. Really enjoyed it. On the top near the top of the list for the performances I've seen from Skarlety Envy.
Kirk.
Not as far removed from death metal as you'd think, because if you listen to each musician in this band, they're all pulling in different directions, but it's very coherent. And Mike, I always say this, just look at his guitar technique. He's playing so much melodic death metal, but there's the groove of the drums and then the often like upstrokes on the bass, and that works so well. And then when you put Kim Stacey Marino's vocals on top of that, she comes across, doesn't she, as a classically trained singer. That's what you would think when you see them live. I think, Dave, the main probably comparison, the easy one, would be that band New Year's Day, wouldn't it? It's like alternative gothic metal, but at no point in any of these songs will Mike ever allow the guitar to be diluted, and it's like he's trying to put, and very successfully, put in some, fast tremolo movements. He's got his sweep picking, he's got his pinch harmonics. They brought back Not Dead Yet, which is a classic in their set. This is a band we know basically are always going to end with that song Bleed For Me. That is the best chorus in the scene. That's an anthem for me. I would say, though, I think they can consider dropping the song She's Coming from the set, especially if they've got a new album coming. It's just the one song I've heard so many times where now it doesn't really do anything for me. I know it's got that fast tempo, and it's good that Mike and Dan can join in the chorus, and it's a really good modulation from Kim in that chorus. Something about that song, I think I've just become too familiar with it. And if they're looking at bringing in new songs and still doing a 45-minute set, personally, I think that they could probably get rid of that now. And I've heard the new material. I can't remember the name. I like that song that's got a bit of a doom metal sound to it. And finally, Andy, speaking of doom metal, can you imagine if we got the Finnish funeral doom legend Shape of Despair to play 664 in Cambridge? We know the light show is going to be perfect for them.
Yeah, I'd be happy with that. Kirk, you're sick of She's Coming because you've been watching the video over and over again, watching yourself on that, haven't you? That's why you're sick of it.
No, I'm just, yeah, the fact that I'm on the video.
And you, Andy, that was when you were able to run still.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's thank you very much for watching, and we're going to now hand it over to the guys and girl from Skarlety Envy for one of their performances from the show. Tune in for another video soon. Take care.